to the show. Theology. We're sorry. You're welcome.
I am Jesse Ward.
I'm Peggy Murphy.
Peggy Murphy. That's right. Be yourself.
Just be authentic.
All right, so today's episode is brought to you by cicadas. We're going to have a plague-worthy amount of cicadas come out of the earth this year. It's like a 17-year brood. And I also read a little article that says they pee with a lot more force than something of their size should be expected to pee. I don't know how that directly affects us, but that is one of the top articles Google had to offer. We all know there is but one Google.
So the velocity with which they urinate is excessive?
A velocity raptor, yeah.
A velocity?
Yeah. It doesn't even say an amount like they piss more than you'd think. It just is like at a velocity, right? It's just the forward projectile of this urine is notable, I guess.
So many golden loop hours.
But this year specifically, there's going to be a lot of pee because, well, there's going to be a lot of cicada. That's crazy.
That is crazy. That's going to cause me to lose some sleep.
Right. Oh, shit. You know what that reminds me of?
Some plagues that happened in Egypt.
Some plagues that happened in Egypt.
Not even just some, but quite notable ones.
Tell us about these plagues, Peg.
Plagues struck Egypt. Why did they come, you ask? Because Egyptian Pharaoh was keeping God's chosen Hebrews as slaves. So Moses on over to Pharaoh, and he's like, hey, you got to let my people go. He's like, no, I'm not going to do that. He goes, well, meet me at the Nile.
We'll come on down to the Nile then.
Anyway, Moses lifts his stick. He's got this magic staff, right? Blessed by God. He lifts up his arms with his staff and turns the water to blood.
Ew.
Not just all the water in the Nile, but like all the water there. Just all the other rivers, all the other ponds, canals, everything. Dams, reservoirs, if you will. Even the waters that they were storing, like everything.
All the water.
It kills all the fish. They have no drinking water.
Right.
Still, Pharaoh is like, meh, I don't think so.
You think the first time I ever saw a bloodbath before?
I bleed my own blood all the time.
Yeah, all right.
So during this too, right, the Pharaoh has magicians and they're like, we can turn water into blood also. And they're feeling all proud of themselves, just continually to contaminate their own waters.
God, look at that.
Guys, look, I got all this clean drinking water.
Finally.
Watch what I can do.
You didn't just turn that into blood, did you?
Oh, what a high five you or drown you in it.
Yeah. Oh, wow. You're a moron.
Right, so God makes it very clear, though. He's like, you know what? I am going to make sure, though, that Pharaoh's heart is hardened throughout this. So basically, he's just able to witness his people suffer, and Pharaoh's kind of blind to appreciate what the Lord can do. That was plague 1. Plague 2 is
Riveting.
It is riveting. So Moses is like, hey, what do you want to do here? And Pharaoh's like, still going to stand my ground. And he goes, okay, well, I'm going to send frogs your way. And it's like all the frogs at this point, right? They're aquatic dwelling frogs.
All the frogs in the region were like, yo, I hear the big party going down in Egypt.
It's funny with our water. Right, we got to come out and we're not going to live in there anymore. In alarming numbers, the frogs are just swarming everything. Frogs are gross.
Yeah, none of them were Prince Charming.
I'm sure that there was a lot of frog kissing going on, but there was...
Oh, yeah, so the Pharaoh kissed all the frogs.
Well, that sounds like a good romance story.
Aw, bestiality.
All right, so frogs seem annoying. Pharaoh doesn't care. People are just like, oh, there's frogs in my soup. There's frogs in my bowls that I make bread with. There's frogs in my bed. There's frogs in my soup. Just everywhere.
They're in the soup also. Did I say it was in my soup?
And my soup bowls. I've had enough of this. So with that, the magicians Pharaoh has is like, hey, that's a cool trick. We can do that too. Start making them too.
Hey, don't worry, we can do this too.
And I wonder how Pharaoh looks at them like
Scar from the Lion King, like,
I'm surrounded by idiots.
I would just like walk up and break their sticks too. Like, stop it.
Yeah.
You're not. Whose side are you on? If you're not with me, you're against me. You're definitely against me. At that point, though, Pharaoh's like, okay, Moses, you can tell your God that he can have his people back. And then Moses goes, prays, gets the frogs dead, and...
Do they just like die on spot?
Yeah, on the
spot. They gotta kill them, they gotta collect them.
He did have to go like scoop up and gather all these frogs, all these dead decaying frog carcass that stink to high hell. Pharaoh's like, Oh wait, it's not so bad now. I take it back.
Yeah. Why did I say you could have your people? Because fuck you.
Moment of grief and like I was overwhelmed. I cannot be held liable for the words I used with which I was saying when I promised you God.
Right.
So then gnats came. Moses goes and says, you know what? All the dust in the air, I will now turn to gnats.
And fleas too, right?
Please, light, just choking on me.
Lice too.
That's what I remember reading and hearing. So with this, the magicians tried to do the same thing.
Yeah. Like, oh yeah, we can make lice too. And then one of the guys was like, hey, we can't make lice.
Dude, God, I think the Lord their God just took all the lice.
Yeah, right. Like a high school dance crew. Oh yeah, well we got to clap back for that. And then one of his buddies like, hey, we can't clap back for that. He's like, oh, you hear that? We can't. Wait, what? We missed the frogs now.
Right, and then they kicked it up a notch. God did. He goes, well, I'm gonna send flies.
Flies. I hate flies.
Like one fly is imagine just
I hate fly.
I hate that, right? Oh, 2 flies? No, thank you.
Man, to be a fly on the wall.
But you know what's funny? The Egyptians had the Israelites slaved up, right?
Slaved up.
This is like
Yeah, I'm still slaved up for the weekend.
up for the holidays.
Yeah. Hashtag slaved up for Egypt.
Oh no! But the plagues didn't hit the Hebrews.
Right. Pass them in all of these.
Like there's this level of protection. Is God love protecting the Hebrews from these plagues?
That's so cool.
That is awesome. Flies wouldn't go there. The gnats wouldn't impact them. The frogs didn't touch them. They had clean water. Oh, what a time to be. So Pharaoh kind of does the same thing. He's like, oh, this is so terrible. Make it stop. You can have whatever you want. And all right. And he's like, oh, wait, you made it stop? Okay. I take back what I said.
Man, I just got a hard on for this.
So God's like, okay, well, I am the Lord.
The Lord made his heart hard.
He hardened his heart.
Hard on.
Hard on time. That
Yeah. Between a rock and a hard heart.
the aardvark from our art. It was a plague against the livestock that came next. Basically, all their livestock, horses, donkeys, camels, cattle, sheep, goats, dead.
I just like see one of his magicians like, I got this. He's like, don't stop it.
You know what's not gonna die? The Israelites fucking livestock.
Yeah.
They're gonna look even better because they're gonna be compared to your crappy ones. They're all dead.
That's funny.
Boil came next.
Oh, yeah, naturally. Right.
So Moses goes, takes a handful of soot from the brick kiln, throws it in the air, and all the dust, like the fine dust that spread over the land of Egypt, just caused these festering boils. Like
Ow.
any animals that were left and all the people, just painful ass boils. Like to the point
Just showed up out of nowhere.
probably even just like opening your eyes hurt. Oh,
That would suck.
that is awful. Yeah, and Pharaoh's heart, if it lasted for more than 4 hours, you should consult. So he
Cardiagra.
the blood flow like the Nile. Oh dear. It was a plague of hail that came next to cool things down. Got a little too hot.
Right.
Hail. At this point, he sends a storm like they've never seen, like thunder, hail. Like, the magicians are like scared, right? We can't do these magic tricks. He's so real, Pharaoh. Pharaoh's like, I can't believe I had you bitches as my people.
Yeah, right.
Get out of here.
You mean what you need to clap back to this?
So, like, you're like, find shelter. The storm is just killing everything. It is killing everything. Moses goes to Pharaoh. So, which say you?
Like, hey Moses, I was hoping to catch you out here. Oh, hey, remember that thing we were talking about?
You do.
You remember the Egyptian? Of course you
You're
do.
still talking to God because I kind of want to let him know that I might have fucked up.
No, we were thinking.
Keep this note for me. So with like the thunder and the hail and just the worst storm ever, all the flax, the barley in the land were ruined. Anything that hadn't sprouted from the ground basically was just destroyed as well. Killing people, death had spread everywhere too, right? Just, what do? You put your shoulders back and appreciate your hard heart because that's what Pharaoh did. He's like, no, I will not cave. So locusts came.
They go from place to place and just decimate things.
Do you think they decimate things both with the amount they eat or with the force that they pee?
Well, that's cicadas.
Oh, dang it. It's not.
Yeah, locusts are basically like slightly mutated grasshoppers. It's because there's a lot of them and they're actually social. They stick together and they move and they feed. And that's all that they do when they hoard together.
Interesting. All right. So yeah, they did.
Yeah, okay.
They did. They came together in their big ass locust horde.
Rude.
And anything that was left after all the plagues that had already come through, they just finished off.
Yeah, no, that's what the locusts were doing. Like, hey, we came for two things.
Eaten and sweet was the cicadas, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Fact, Jesse.
It was a great one. It was a really good one.
So locusts come eat everything, and Pharaoh's heart hard.
Like a 15-year-old heart.
I'll play paper Pharaoh's heart scissors.
That was a good one. I like that.
So then the plague of darkness came. This one is, I don't know. This one just touches me for some reason.
Can you show me on the doll where it touched you?
It gives me goosebumps. The abyss, I call it. It is the darkness that sweeps over you. It is so suffocating.
Like, can you smell that? It smells dark.
Yeah, it smells like infinite death. It smells like hell. The darkness.
I can't even imagine what they've gone through, but I have experienced something of the likeness, and that's not a great place to be because there's like an extra feeling. They're like, I'm not alone right now.
Right. I am alone, but I'm not alone.
The hairs on the back of my neck. Yeah.
Meanwhile, the Hebrews are just like enjoying their sunrise, their sunset. Just...
I thought it was the funniest joke today.
That's excellent. So Pharaoh still has that hard heart of his.
So hard.
So hard. God's like, all right, I got more sleeves. He says death for their firstborn males. And this applies to Pharaoh, you obviously, but also.
I think it's interesting that like they're setting like an angel of death over the land. And this one, hey guys, you gotta mark the doorway with blood. It knows.
This one is like a heavy
real,
right?
Yeah.
It's here to clean things up.
This is, no pun intended, but foreshadowing the coming son, right?
Any firstborn male applicable to anybody. It doesn't matter what rank, where you fall. Your firstborn male, out of here. God did though give, right, his chosen people instruction.
Yeah.
Like there's a way for you to.
Here's a secret password.
New England clam chowder.
Yeah. The coffee is hot in Nepal.
That would basically keep the angel of death away from taking that firstborn. So with that though, he did. The angel of death came, swept through the night, took the firstborns, and when Egypt awoke to find their firstborn males dead, the wail, the cry that they let out was...
It was such a big whale, it swallowed Jonah.
Oh, that's good.
Man.
So then, you know what the Hebrews heard?
Oh, Joey walked this morning. Right.
And I feel like there's just so much beauty in that.
I'm going to put this one in the baby book. Right.
To be protected by God.
Right. Well, I mean, they were also still slaves.
I think this actually speaks to like why. When people are just like, why do God do this and that? It's like, well, he does things simultaneously. So maybe you should focus on the good he's also doing, right?
Right.
Because Hebrews have their livestock, they've got their sunshine babies. You're mad because you're an Egyptian right now?
Yeah, right. That's weird. That's funny.
A little apology on that statement, but yeah.
The who?
That was fun.
I was just,
Oh, you know what though? It basically was that Egypt was God's playground.
Oh. Who let you in here? This has been theology. No, but what's the takeaway here?
Plague be with you. No, I think that is my takeaway was that.
And not that joke. Right?
God doesn't do one thing at a time. He's moving. He can multitask. He can make magic happen in
real time.
Multitude of ways for everybody.
Yeah.
While you may feel that you are on a suffering end, just know that he is still also operating an end of blessings. So it is your choice, I feel like, on what end you could be. Right? He doesn't just wake up one day and he's like, you know what?
I don't know. I think it was a huge, for me, the big takeaway is, if God is for me, who is against me? Like, that comes to mind. Someone who said about, fearing this and that, but there's also somebody who said, like, oh yeah, that's my God. So, so he who is in me is greater than he who is in the world, right? So that's my takeaway from it. Yeah. This time, the next time we read it, I'll have another takeaway.
No, that's a really good one. I really like that. Thanks for sharing them. I agree.
Like, my dad's mayor,
Oh, well, you know what my dad did?
That's what I heard. Anyways.
Hey. That's excellent.
Thanks for tuning in. Hope to see you next week.
You're not my real dad. I didn't
Theology. We're sorry. You're welcome.